Welcome back to the Nerdy Grail and welcome to a very different kind of ranking video here on the channel. Now this year in particular, anyone who knows me, if you knew me from before, you know that horror was never really something that I was massively into. It would be something that I would be intrigued by every once in a while. But it seems like recently, within the last year or so, it's really intrigued me a lot more. And I must admit, 2026 has been quite a weird year so far. And we're only 5 months in, nearly halfway through the year now. But it's been quite a weird year in terms of horror movies, in terms of like the tone that things are being set. There's lots of comedic ones, there's lots of really dark ones, there's ones that delve into really serious topics. So it's been a bit of a weird mixed bag, and I've come away from the cinema on multiple occasions thinking, wow, that was intriguing, or what on earth have I just watched, or that was absolutely disgusting. There's not been one horror movie that I felt has been the exact same this year, and there's loads of horror movies for some reason coming out this year. Like, we've got a massive abundance. I've already seen 9 horror movies this year, and so what I thought I would do in today's video is I'd combine a ranking, a prediction, and a discussion all into one. So I've got 2 different sections here. I've got seen and unseen. So in the scene section, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be ranking all 9 of the horror movies that I have seen in the cinema so far. And I'm going to be putting them from best to worst. So the one that is the best will be closest to the left, and then obviously closest to the right will be my least favourite. And then once I have done my ranking, I'm then going to have a look at the unseen. So as you can see, there are some horror movies in the unseen category. So these are horror movies that either are already out and I haven't seen yet, or they are upcoming horror movies that I am intending on seeing this year. Obviously, there's going to be some big horror movies that I have not included, but that's simply because I don't really anticipate on seeing them. So on this list, these are literally all the horror movies that I've either seen or would like to see this year. There's 1 or 2 extras that I have decided to include as a horror movie, which I will discuss when we get to them. But yeah, so sit back, relax, maybe get a cup of tea, because this is going to be a bit of a long one, as I give you my ranking, prediction, and discussion of all the horror movies that I've seen and would like to see so far in 2026. So let's start with the movies that I have seen. So the first horror movie that I saw this year was the first movie I saw in the cinema this year, and that was Return to Silent Hill, which was a bit of a mixed bag kind of movie. I have done a review on it, so if you want my full thoughts, you can see it on my channel. It wasn't terrible. It had good atmosphere, good tension. I thought the soundtrack was pretty good. I did have goosebumps all the way through. It tried to stick quite heavy to take inspiration from the Silent Hill 2 game, which I've played the remake, remastered version on the PlayStation 5. So it was interesting, but it did change some things. I know it wasn't overly good with pacing. I know some people did criticize the movie. It recently came out on physical media, so I will have to do another rewatch of it. I wouldn't say it was anything spectacular. So in terms of where I'm going to put it, and I will move these as we go along, I'm going to say Return to Silent Hill would probably be closer towards the bottom half of my list. For the ones that I've seen in 2026 so far. Then the next horror film that I saw was Primate. Now, I really like the concept of Primate. Anyone who knows me knows I love kaiju-style movies or animal-based horror movies, so like shark movies. You know, in this one, you've got an ape-based movie with this super intelligent ape called Ben, who ends up getting rabies and basically goes on the rampage and starts attacking his family who are looking after him in this small enclosed space. And I really must say, it is done really, really well. It is really, really creepy. They make Ben so ferocious and scary in this movie. I really like that. I would say one negative that I do have, though, is that Ben doesn't spend too long as nice, so that when he does turn bad, you almost don't feel as sorry for him as the trailers make out. There's literally only maybe 2, maybe 3 scenes max with him as nice, and then he's instantly attacking people, and so you don't really feel for him. But you can see like the sadistic side of him and how he starts like laughing at his victims. And, you know, you do get that satisfaction by the end of the movie. I'd say the atmosphere that it's set there, the location of being trapped in this big, massive building, but also really enclosed rooms and corridors really sets the tension for the movie. So I think it is done pretty well. So I'd say for now, I'm going to probably put it more up here. I definitely preferred it over Return to Silent Hill, but we'll see what my final ranking is as we get through the video. Send Help. Now, I literally did an unboxing of Send Help a couple of days ago and I said I hadn't seen it. But later on in that very day, I sat down with my fiance and we watched Send Help. So I have actually seen Send Help. And my goodness, I really enjoyed Send Help. It literally focuses on your two main protagonists of the movie, Linda Little and Bradley Preston. So Linda Little works for Bradley, and basically Linda is sort of this awkward, geeky, nerdy, bit of a loner within the office. Nobody seems to like her or want to hang out with her. She gets this new boss. She's been dying for promotion. The new boss comes in, sort of takes that away from her. They go on this little work trip. The plane crashes. They end up on this deserted island, and it's basically like a fight for survival. And you've got Linda and Bradley, who don't get along, having to fight for survival, and it becomes a bit of a free-for-all. There's some twists and turns. I think it's really, really good. Linda's character is absolutely amazing. It is a mixture of like a horror, a thriller, and even a bit of a dark comedy at times. And I think them two bouncing off each other works really, really well. I thoroughly enjoyed Send Help, and I'd happily rewatch it again. I definitely say so far that is probably, out of the ones I've done so far, is probably the best so far. So it's going above Primate. But we'll see where it ends as we get closer to the end of my scene list. But I would definitely recommend watching Send Help, you know, and I think the island setting, sure, it's been done before, you know, trapped on a deserted island. You've got different TV shows that have done it. But I don't know, there's just something about it is really good, and I love the twist at the end as well, although my fiance can predict a twist just like that. Next, we've got Scream 7. Now, when I first watched Scream 7, I liked it, but then I was thoroughly disappointed by the twist and the reveal of who Ghostface was. I thought it wasn't earned, I thought it was random, and I really wanted to see the return of Stu Macher, which I still believe they are going to set up for the future couple of movies. I'm fairly certain Scream 8 has been greenlit. So I think we are building to that, but I was really disappointed. Some stuff was really convoluted. I knew it was coming at some point, this whole AI thing, but I'm not a massive fan of the whole AI thing, so I thought that was dumb. I thought the decisions made by our characters wasn't the best, you know. I thought I had a good opening with the little Scream Ghostface-esque museum. I thought that was quite nice, set in one of the old houses. I thought that was a nice touch and a good opening. But it just seems to fall apart. Sidney Prescott as our main protagonist again. You know, I love Sidney, don't get me wrong, but I just think we sort of, what more can we really do with her story now? I think in Scream 8 they need to finalise her story, and that's where you've got to bring Stu back. So unfortunately for me, I'm going to put Scream down lower on the list. It's going to go more towards the Silent Hill route. It definitely wasn't one of the better horror movies I've seen this year, to be honest. I still liked Ghostface, and I still liked some of the kills in there. I just thought that the thrills of this one were few and far between this time round. Then we got Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. Now, I adored Ready or Not 1. I thought Grace as a protagonist was really good. I liked the concept of this deadly game of hide and seek in this great big mansion house, and if you survive, you become part of the family. They got a bit of a supernatural element to it. I thought it was great as a horror comedy. Then they did the sequel, which I saw in the cinemas, and they bring her sister into it, and they continue the storyline. And I think her and her sister Faith bounce off each other really, really well. I thought, you know, characters like Elijah Wood's character was unbelievably corny. The ending is a little bit in your face and a little bit, oh God, why have they done this? But I thoroughly enjoyed it. All the new characters, the siblings of the new family that are tormenting Grace and her sister, Ursula and Titus, I thought were really, really good. But yeah, in a much bigger setting. It didn't feel as enclosed. It felt a lot more action-packed. And it was a lot more funny. It was funnier, if I'm being perfectly honest. So I really, really liked it. So I think I'm going to move Primate down, and I'm actually going to squeeze Ready or Not 2 in between Primate and Send Help, because I still think Send Help is my favourite so far. Then we've got They Will Kill You. Now, this one was on my little bingo card for a while. I quite liked the idea of this woman who turns up at this hotel to become like almost like a maid or to work there, and then all the co-workers tend to try and like hunt them down, but she ends up being this big killer herself and ends up hunting them. I thought that was a nice concept, but then when I saw the film and we actually got the proper plot, I thought, oh, that's quite interesting. It does take a very weird turn by the end. So basically you got your main character, Asia Reeves, who basically her and her sister were like abused by their father and all the past. She ends up getting arrested trying to, by basically killing her father in order to save her sister from going back. That doesn't end up happening. She goes on the run. She gets arrested. She's separated from the sister. The sister ends up going back to the father who survives. And basically years later, she thinks she's found her sister, Maria, in this hotel. So gets a job there to try and find her. And it turns out to be like a supernatural hotel where they basically like worship Satan and the devil and this, that, and the other. And they get like immortality through it, and basically Asia's going to be like the next sacrifice, and it becomes a bit like a Wicker Man in a hotel style. It's really weird. There's some like real blood and gore in this. There's weird fetish stuff, and there's a guy who licks someone's feet. It becomes really weird, and that's a really bizarre theme that I seem to have found this year. Is fetish movies seem to be on the rise in terms of horror, but it was a bit of fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was a bit of fun. I did quite enjoy it. I definitely think it was better than, say, Scream 7 and Silent Hill for me, but not quite as good as, say, Send Help, Ready or Not 2, or Primate, because I still like the enclosed atmosphere that Primate had a little bit more than the hotel from They Will Kill You, but I still thought They Will Kill You was a decent movie. Then we've got Undertone. Now, this movie really got me thinking and really sent chills. My fiancé initially didn't want to go to watch this movie because of the way that the audio sounded in the trailer. There was a particular voice that creeped her out. And this movie does a great job at spooking you and making you watch the background all the way through. It's literally two main characters through the whole film. Eve and Justin, who host this like radio podcast called The Undertone. They discover these files, these 10 like messages from a previous relationship that's gone wrong. They start listening to these voice notes and creepy stuff starts happening, and it turns out they've like unleashed a demon into the world. But it is terrifying, it is scary, and it leaves you on a cliffhanger of what was real, what wasn't real, it really gets you thinking, and I quite enjoyed that. I thought that was really good. So yeah, it is creepy, and I do enjoy it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move Send Help and Ready or Not 2 up, because I really liked the tone of the movie, and I'm actually gonna put Undertone between Ready or Not 2 and Primate. That's where I'm going to place it so far, because I did really like it, and it's left me thinking. And if a movie leaves you thinking and constantly has you with chills days later, then it's done a good job, in my opinion. Right, then we've got Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Definitely one of the goriest and grossest movies I have ever seen. Does that mean it's a bad movie or a good movie? It's hard to say. Look, I wouldn't say it's a horrendous movie in terms of like a bad movie. There was some stuff I enjoyed. I enjoyed all the main characters for different reasons. With Katie and her sister Maud and Seb, and then the parents as well. I liked the theming. There was some good levels of gore. It was scary at times, it was tense. The pacing was good. It wasn't perfect. There was stuff that dragged. It's a 2 hour 17-ish minute movie, 2 hour 14. So they could have shaved at least maybe about half an hour off, I think, potentially. It does start to drag towards the end. I think the main things that let this film down is this overabundance on just a gross fest, and also some of the most idiotic parents I think I've ever seen in a horror movie, making some of the dumbest choices, dumbest decisions I have ever seen, just in order for the plot to happen is laughable, and it is ridiculous. And yeah, I like the idea, but I just don't think the execution was done very well, if I'm being perfectly honest. I'm going to probably do a proper review on this at some point in the future. But yeah, it's an interesting idea, but I just don't think it was done very, very well. But I would say it wasn't the worst horror film I've seen this year. So I'm going to pop it in between Scream 7 and They Will Kill You, because I definitely think I prefer it over those movies. And then the last horror film and most recent film I've actually seen in the cinema is Hokum, or Hokum. I probably butchered the pronunciation of that completely, but I really did quite like this one. You follow the character of Om Bauman, who's this writer who's fallen on hard times. He's basically goes to this hotel in Ireland, a place where his parents had a honeymoon, in order to get some inspiration and discover some lost secrets. And he gets like caught up in this like well, it feels a bit Wicker Man-esque, but there's like this witch, and it's supposed to be a haunted hotel. And then this staff member goes missing, and he starts to investigate the disappearance of said staff member. You know, there's some really good side characters. There's a bit of a dark comedy at times. There is a little bit of comedy in there. Great visual storytelling, really tense, really atmospheric. Really feels claustrophobic at times. I actually thought it was actually pretty good. It was pretty interesting, if you ask me. Not the best horror movie I've seen, but it definitely got me thinking. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Hokum just after... I think I'm going to put it here, between Undertone and Primate, because I did quite enjoy it, but I sort of umming and ahhing whether I preferred it over Primate. But yeah, it was a fairly decent horror movie, and it's one that I personally would recommend going to see as well. Especially if you want another one of those that keeps you thinking, keeps you on your toes the whole time. And the smaller cast, I think, helps. And the side character of Jerry is a hilarious character to have. But yeah, that is going to be the ranking side of it. So I think, yeah, Send Help has definitely been my favourite that I've seen this year. And then Silent Hill to Scream 7. Those two could swap around, to be honest. But that is probably it in terms of my ranking of them so far. Obviously, if you disagree with that, then that's perfectly fine, but let's just make sure we keep it all respectful. But now moving on over to the unseen section. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go from the movie that I'm least excited to see out of these to the one that I'm most anticipating on, and just give you some brief thoughts. So in this section, you will notice I have included Clayface from DC Studios and also Godzilla Minus Zero, because they do this year in particular, they're classifying Clayface as a horror, I think, because it's going down the body horror route, and it's going to take a much darker route. So I have put it on there because of that, even though it is a comic book movie. And then Godzilla being a big kaiju horror movie, there is scary stuff that goes on, so I'm counting it as a horror. But yeah, so the movie out of all of these that I'm probably looking forward to the least, so to speak, in my opinion, is The Backrooms. Now, I didn't honestly understand why we're having a Backrooms movie. I mean, for like a little indie video game and stuff to get theories and all out there, I thought it was interesting. I did think that we could have a movie about it at some point in the future, like a short movie, you know, like maybe one that's like half an hour long or less. But a full feature-length movie on the Backrooms, I'm not too sure how that's going to work. I probably will go to see it in the cinema. I have spoken to my fiance about it, so we might end up going to see it. But it's not one that's up there on my priority list, and I'm very like confused as to where they're going to go from it. It's an interesting concept, The Backrooms. Don't get me wrong, but for a full-length movie, I'm not so sure. We'll have to wait and see. Then the movie I'm next, least looking forward to seeing, but I am still looking forward to seeing, is Terrifier 4. Now, anyone who knows me knows I do watch the Terrifier movies. I have got a massive collection set of the Terrifiers. I do like Art the Clown as an antagonist. I think the mute antagonist, the very comedic route of it is really interesting. It is one of the goriest franchises I think I've watched, and that is saying something because I have seen a fair few of the Saw franchise. But yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes, and I believe it's supposed to be the final one. But yeah, I don't know. They're sort of just there just for the shock factor, and I think plot is starting to go a bit chaotic and out the window. So we'll just have to wait and see. I am going to watch it, but what it's going to be like, I don't know. Then probably the next one for me then is Resident Evil. Now, I recently did a reaction to the first teaser trailer for the Resident Evil movie of 2026. Resident Evil's not had the best track record in terms of horror movies. In terms of movies in general, the original series had like 6 movies. Most of them were pretty bad, like average to bad. Then you had the Return to Raccoon City in 2021, which also flopped. So they're trying their best, but I just don't know if they're going to succeed. And the thing is, they seem to be going back. They could go back to square one again, so we could just have another repeat of Resident Evil 1 to 2. So I'm hopeful. I do like Resident Evil as a franchise, but I'm really unsure whether this movie is going to be successful or not. I will go and see it when it comes out, I believe, in September, October time this year. So fingers crossed, when we get a full trailer, they'll reveal a lot more about it. Then, for me, the next one then is 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which the 28 Years franchise, we had days and weeks and years. I've only dipped in and out of them so far, and so the concept interests me, the characters interest me, the world building and the scare factor really intrigues me. I am yet to see 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. I do have it. I did an unboxing of it, but I haven't actually got around to watching it. I do anticipate on watching it, and I will try to as soon as I possibly can. I am looking forward to it, but there's a lot of stuff coming out this year, and a lot of stuff is on my priority list, but I have heard really good things about it. I have heard really, really good things about it, so I am hopeful that I will enjoy it when I do get round to watching it. So that's why it is not bottom of the barrel. Then next for me, in terms of it, is got to be the Scary Movie franchise. So this is Scary Movie 6. They're just titling it Scary Movie, but it is the 6th movie in the franchise. They are continuing on. They are bringing back a couple of the core characters from the previous movies, which is really nice. This does classify as a horror, but it is a comedy movie. It is one of those parody movies that spoofs horror franchises, a bit like Epic Movie and Disaster Movie and stuff like that, the superhero movie. It's just that for horror franchises. What I'm looking forward to the most is the fact that they are incorporating obviously lots of current horror franchises like Art the Clown, like Megan and stuff like that. They're bringing back Ghostface. They're doing Long Legs and stuff like that. I think is terrific. They're keeping the comedy the same, a bit like Naked Gun kept the same style of comedy over the years. So I think that's nice that they're staying true to themselves. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this one will also be really good and I'll have a blast. I've currently rewatched the first 3 Scary Movies in preparation. I've just got to watch now Scary Movie 4 and 5 to get ready for Scary Movie 6, which comes out in a month's time, I believe. Okay, so top 4 now, and all 4 of these I am looking forward to for very, very different reasons. I would say the next one for me is going to be Godzilla -0. Godzilla -1 I'm a massive fan of Godzilla. Anyone knows me, I love the MonsterVerse. I love the original Godzilla movies. I have a big collection of Godzilla. I might do a collection update or a MonsterVerse talk at some point on my channel, but I love Godzilla. Godzilla -1, I only saw like the last month or 2. I was very behind on that. Heard amazing things. It is a terrific movie. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. And so when I heard that they were doing Godzilla -0, I thought, oh my goodness, we are in for a treat. I saw the teaser of Godzilla going past the Statue of Liberty, and I thought, this is going to be fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to it. I love my Godzilla, love my kaiju movies, so cannot wait for this one to come out, and I'll probably do a review on the channel when it does come out. Then top 3 then for me, then anyone who knows me as well knows that I do discuss on the channel and I talk about in great detail the movies from the Twisted Childhood universe. I've done unboxings, I've done reviews, I've done franchise discussions on them. I love this universe. I cannot believe it's gotten as big as it is. And Pinocchio Unstrung, I did do a reaction and a discussion to the trailer, and oh my goodness, it looks like it's going to be absolutely insane. Pinocchio basically stealing different parts from different people to build himself a new form. It's going to be probably the most goriest one of the lot. I am really looking forward to it, and I cannot wait to see this universe expand. We're so close to the Pooniverse assembled movie now, and they're all going to come together. It's just wild that we are now, 5 movies deep into this franchise now. yeah, this is the 5th movie and it's still going strong. So I cannot wait to watch this movie when it comes out, and expect there to be an unboxing and a review when it does come out. Top 2 movies then for me. Next then is going to be Clayface. Now DC, I am more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan, but I can't deny Clayface is a villain and a character within the Batman lore that I have adored a lot. He's not my favourite, but I just like the concept, and they're going down the body horror route. I'm not massive into body horror, but to be honest, I think Clayface would work really well as a body horror, and the teaser does look really creepy, really intense, and I think it could be a very interesting movie. So I am looking forward to it, and I think, yes, Clayface as a body horror is going to be great. Where this fits in terms of like the Batman franchise, it's hard to say. I don't believe it's part of the Robert Pattinson one at the moment. I think it is part of, James Gunn's wider universe, or it could be in a separate one itself. Correct me if I'm wrong. But we will have to wait and see. But it is looking really, really interesting. We've only had a teaser trailer so far. And then finally, my most anticipated horror film of this year is actually one that's coming out in literally just over a week's time at the time of recording this video, is Obsession. And I am really looking forward to seeing this. I've done a reaction to the trailer. I will try my best to do a review when it comes out and give you my thoughts on it, because I love the concept of this. It's basically a guy who fancies this girl. He doesn't have the confidence, doesn't think she would like him, and basically uses this like weird bar to make a wish that she would love him more than anything in the world. And she then becomes obsessed with him and then starts going crazy, and just shit hits the fan then. Simple concept, but one that I know will draw me in, and I cannot wait to see this. I have been dying to see this for months. So just you wait, because I will hopefully get a review out on that when it does. But yeah, that is going to be my full video ranking all the horror movies I've seen so far, and also giving you my prediction and in terms of what movies I'm looking forward to seeing in terms of the horror franchise later on in the year. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please like it by giving it a thumbs up, and comment down below your thoughts on the horror movies of this year, and has it taken a bit of a weird turn this year? And subscribe if you are new, but for now, this is the Nerdy Grail signing off. I hope you've had an amazing day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now, everyone.